Hi everyone, this is Kevin over here. I just wanted to show you a quick demo around the model context protocol, the buzzword which is there around in the AI industry and what it's all about. So I have certain examples which I will showcase using GitHub, AWS and database. For this demo, I'm using the Cloud desktop as my client. I could build my own client as well using Streamlit or any other application, but to reduce the time it takes for the development for the client, I'm just using what is there. So I'm using the Cloud desktop. And to tell you why and how I would say model context protocol is helpful, basically it liberates the business stakeholders who don't know much about tech, I would say per se. It would be helpful for them without knowing the underlying things, without knowing that many settings or how to configure certain resources. So they can do it using a simple prompt or a chat. They could either, like, we could set up a client in Teams as well or in Slack as well. So without saying much, just getting started, create a GitHub repository. So let's send that, see how it goes. So it is asking for my permission before it does any step. So I've just given that permission. So and it is creating the repo first, and the repo was created. Now it is creating the CloudFormation template. If I just scroll down, you'll see. Okay, so we got an error. Now it is trying to, based on the error which we got, it is trying to try and do that particular step using some other way. That is also one of the features I would say of having the MCP protocol. So let me just allow this. Okay, and it was able to push that file. Now let's create a GitHub action workflow. So it is creating a GitHub action workflow which will do the deployment, and now it is adding a README to the repo, which would help the team, the developers who are working on this repo for the first time. So let's see. And see, all of this is happening through a single prompt, all these steps. So what it is doing is it is breaking down everything into different steps and executing them using the MCP tools which are there. So it is giving a brief about what it has done. And this is my GitHub account. Over here, if I refresh, I have this new, I would say, repo which was created. It has templates, GitHub action workflow, all this README, everything was added based on the code. And if I go to the templates, I have this one YAML file. If I would see, it has the parameters, resource, it is having the Lambda execution policy, execution role, yep, Lambda execution policy, Lambda S3 permission it is given, S3 bucket role it is having. So basically it is creating the service role and the managed policy. And if I go to the GitHub actions as well to show you what it has done, which kind of workflow it has created. Okay, so it is there as workflow dispatch, templates, GitHub action checkout. Let me check if it ran. Okay, because it is there as dispatch, so until unless I run the workflow from here, it won't run. Over here, it is checking for my AWS access secret key and region, which I could like provide in settings and do those configurations. So this is around GitHub. Now let's move to another example around AWS. So let's start with the famous service of AWS, that is EC2. Create an EC2 instance which hosts a Nginx server in my AWS account. So here it is using Boto3 to create the server, and in the user data basically have the Nginx configuration. And for this, basically I have to allow. If I don't allow, it won't be able to perform any steps. So that is kind of like a checkpoint which is there. Like when we get permission, then only it will do that particular step. Okay, so it gave an error that it is not able to find the key pair, invalid type parameter for key pair. Then I see that security group already exists. So basically based on fly, whatever information that it is getting in my AWS account, it is adjusting and creating based on that and performing the next steps. Let's see. So it is all Boto3 code using Python. It has generated, which it is running. Okay, even though we got an issue, but our server is up. Now to verify, let me go to EC2 dashboard. Let me go to US East 1. Actually, I didn't provide any region, but by default it creates an US East 1. And this is the instance which it has created. Let us check the instance ID if it is the same. Yep, it is the same. And if I just open the URL of the server, so welcome to the Internet server on AWS. So this is around AWS, and let me show you as of now in S3. So it can perform those write operations as well. And basically I want to go to S3 and show you currently the buckets which I have. Okay. Create. Oh wait, since I already have a bucket, I could basically give a prompt to create an S3 bucket as well, but since I already have, let me give some other. Okay, so over here what we're trying to do is based on the S3 bucket in my AWS account, provide me security remediations and best practices which could be used to secure the AWS S3 bucket. So let's see. Let us allow. And it is checking the different configurations which are there for my S3 bucket, and it will basically try to give security remediations which could be applied on the S3 bucket to make it more secure. And another way is we could, based on the security remediation, we could ask it to execute the security remediations as well. So let's see. So the positive configurations that is telling, okay, public access is blocked, server-side encryption is there with bucket key, ACL is there with full owner bucket, okay, no bucket policy versioning, that would enable, that would restricted bucket policy. So it has given all those options, set up lifecycle rule, inventory, the different options. So let me ask it to enable bucket versioning. Do you enable bucket versioning and implement restricted bucket my S3 bucket for now as security remediations. I'm just bad with my spelling. Let's go with autocorrect and see. So see, based on the remediations it gave me, I'm asking it, okay, now apply those remediations. And if I go to the S3 bucket and show you before it basically does all those things. Let's see. Properties, budget versioning has been enabled, I would say just now. Budget policy is also just started. Earlier it wasn't there. Okay. Implement lifecycle rule, cloud trail, because all these things have additional cost. So that's why I'm not implementing them. Okay, for our another example, let's take database use case, for example. Okay. How many tables are there in my database? Let's see. So I have a sample database which I have connected as a tool over here with my MCP. And I'm just clicking on continue. So its first approach didn't work, it's trying out another approach and giving me the table. Okay, now based on the tables in my database query, generate an entity relationship diagram. Let's see. Yeah, diagram, if it will be able to create. So now it is selecting each and every table, getting to know the structure and the dependencies which are there. And it will basically at the end give the entity relationship diagram. And let's see. So it is using Mermaid. And so one benefit of using Claude is it has all these built-in features which could generate the diagram and show the relationship. So if you see, it has created the relationship showing tables like department, manager, employee title, salary. Now let me just close this and give another prompt. Basically, you can interact with the data and get me all the information of top 3 employees who, let me check the spelling of employees who have the highest salary. So now it will go to the database, fetch all the data and get me the response. So it is executing all these SQL queries, and then it will compile all the data and share it. So the things that it is doing, I would say it is kind of like groundbreaking and something new, which is there. And basically, if you see in my one single application, and it took me, I would say, less than a day to build and do all these integrations. So this is something which would revolutionize and bring up new aspects as well in terms of Gen AI, MCP. So over here I'm using Claude models as my LLM, but we could integrate with the new Llama 4 which is there, which has 10 million context window. So there are a number of like possibilities. So it gave me the all the employee information. Now let me give another a final prompt. You analyze the data in my database and give me insights. So I'm asking it to analyze the data in my database and give me the insights based on what it is able to find. So it is executing all these series of commands. Let's see um, what all information it tries to get and what all insights it is giving me about my table, about my basically database. So use cases, I would say there are a number of use cases which could be done using MCP model context protocol. We could do multiple automations, create bots for LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, which could like do all these operations for us, create posts on LinkedIn, and a number of use cases are there. We could have our own, I would say, client, which where we could add some more customization, some more possibilities or connectors that are there. Now in terms of deployment, so this is, I would say, I'm doing in my local. Now let's suppose if you want to create something for an enterprise, for an organization, then if we come to deployment, then yeah, we would need to create our own like trusted servers which would have those integrations and connections along with the client, and we could dockerize them, deploy them in Kubernetes across the organization, which would be leveraged. Or if we yeah, basically Kubernetes would be one of the good solutions. So it has analyzed the data which was there in my database, and it is giving, okay, my company has around 1,000 employees across 9 departments, the gender distribution, all so on and so forth, salary insights. So basically giving all the insights across all the table. So I would say this is it for today. Uh, watch out for my next video where I'll show you how this integration I've done and how you guys can also get started on it and do it for your own, I would say, learning or at your own organization. So thank you. Have a good day.